The last speaker of today will be introduced by Denise. Where is this? She's right here. Denise is also a member of the World Council Executive Committee, and so I'll just leave the word to her. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you our invited speaker of the session, Mr. Søren Ra. I think I'm pronounced correctly. I'm not sure.
Very close, very close.
He's the director of digital experience of LEGO Foundation and has responsibility of driving the digital experience strategy and the digitalization of the LEGO education classroom. With a wide, strong background in teaching, digital technology, and innovation and leadership, Søren Ra has a broad experience in leading the agenda of digitalization across different industries and segments. Well, he told me that he will introduce himself during his presentation. So let's welcome Søren Ra.
Thank you. I will pronounce my name later. Okay, are you good? Are you tired? No. Are you looking forward for tonight? Okay, how many of you are familiar with this one? Do you know what this is? Okay. When I travel around, I normally see that this is one of the basic elements. We have water, we have earth, we have fire, and we have Lego bricks. Right? That's the feeling I get when I come around. So we use these in Lego education. We put them in the classroom. And if the future of education really is about being creative, then it's also important that we have a platform for students to be creative. And that's where we use these ones. Maybe just one brick might not be educational, but if you put another brick and you have two bricks, suddenly you can start being creative. It's a stair, it's a tower, it's a building, okay? So these are core elements. Sometimes we put motors in them. Sometimes we put sensors in them. And we put all this together, and then we have a creative platform for students to be creative. Are you ready to be creative a little bit? Okay. So, this here is our moment of truth. This is 40 minutes or 35 minutes. If this is in China, there are 50 students in the classroom, and there are Lego bricks all over the place. There are robots all over the place. And they have 30 minutes to go through that single class. It needs to work, and it needs to be effective, and it needs to be a really, really engaging experience for these students. So this is our moment of truth, a teacher with really engaged, happy students, and a Lego education product. It's not a toy. It is a toy we put in the classroom, but we have changed it a little bit. We have added value. We have added more to that toy, so it's an educational tool. A part of our basic philosophy is that there is not just one truth. There might be many answers to the problem. There might be many ways to solve a problem. So there's not one truth, there are multiple truths. So now it's your turn. I guess when you came in, you got a small bag. Okay? So now we have to be a little bit creative. In this small bag, there are 6 Lego bricks. So please open this bag. Okay? I can still hear you are opening. So when it's quiet, I guess all bags are open. Take out the bricks, put them in your hand, and then I will give you around 60 seconds. How fast can you build a duck? Take your bricks and start building a duck. Start now. Don't look at the person next to you, just get started building the duck. And when you're done, just keep it in your hands so your neighbor cannot see it. Are you done? Okay. Then take your duck up in your hand and show it to the person next to you on the right side and compare it. Is it the same duck? Do they all look the same? This here is the power of imagination. I guess that, how many people are we in here? I guess that we have more than 150 different ducks. I gave you the same task and you only had 6 bricks and you have created different ducks. Different solutions to a very, very small problem or task. How can that be? So, this is the open-endedness. There are more than one answer to a question. There are many ways to find the right solution. There's not one duck is not more right than another duck. Maybe 2 different ducks can meet and then they can start a story. So this is actually the core of our philosophy. That is, there are many ways to solve a problem. There are so many ways that I was once doing this exercise where a young student came up and was delivering this, saying, "This is my duck. This duck is prepared for cooking." So it's also okay that it's fun to be in the classroom with Lego education. Okay, my name is Søren Ra. It's hard to pronounce. I'm working in Billund here in Denmark, heading up the digital area where we are doing all the software components for all our portfolios in Lego education. And it's a really, really exciting job. I have a background in teaching. I have a background in software development and management. And when I combine these, I end up in Lego. And it's really, really a funny place to be. When I'm in the shower in the morning, I know why I'm working there. It's really, really fantastic. Traveling around the world, see engaged students in the classroom, having fun and really a good time in the classroom using our solutions. So that's me. We feel that we are committed. Now when we have these bricks as core elements like water, earth, and fire, we feel that we have some kind of obligation and promise that we will do something. So we have a commitment that we will make sure that it's not just teachers that are able to use our products. It's also really, really important that students learn how to learn using Lego products. One thing is a positive mindset to learning. That is really important. What do you think happens when you bring in Lego bricks into the classroom? When you take a robot that is driving inside the door and say, now we have to learn math, now we have to learn science, now we have to go to the moon with this robot. What do you think happens with the mindset of the students? Yeah! Now this is going to be fun. And we see that all over the world. So it's really important to have a positive mindset around learning. So when you have that, you sit down and you start to take responsibility of your own learning. I guess that, I don't know if there have been any keynote or any workshop where you haven't discussed 21st century skills. Have you talked about this for the last couple of days? Okay. So I won't spend so much time on this, but it's really one of our promises is, if we are going to be creative in the future, if we are going to be critical thinkers, it's important that we have tools where you can do that. And we feel that it's important that it's not just happening on a screen, it's not just happening in a book, but it's actually happening in this part of the brain, the hands. And that is really, really important. And we see a huge difference between students when they see things on a screen and they actually have bricks in their hands and start working with those bricks, explore with these bricks, create something, be innovative, let the imagination travel out in space. That's what we see. So that's a promise as well. And when you learn that, when you suddenly can put what you've learned, you can put that into your hands and you can take these bricks and say, okay, when I come home, I can actually continue. I can continue with my mom and dad, with my friends. I can actually continue, start my learning and continue and continue. And when I have this platform, it's just about my imagination and my fantasy just to continue. So I'm able to take in more learning because I'm familiar with this. Many of the kids, while they eat breakfast, they might be using these as well. So when they come to school, they feel safe, they feel comfortable, and they take it in, and it's really, really funny for them. So, now you've created a lot of different ducks. Some of you might have been through a process in your brain of, oh, what is a duck? Oh, Hans Christian Andersen. There was something about a duck. I don't know if you had that in mind. It could be while we are here in Odense. Another one just said, I know, my dad go hunting and I know what a duck is, so build a duck. Yeah. So there could be many ways for each student to be able to build this duck. So we have a promise to make sure that every student will succeed using our products. Let's say that you take a big pile of Lego bricks and instead of writing an essay, you build your story with Lego bricks. You can build a very small story with this little duck meeting another duck, or you can build a universe at the same time. The 30 minutes you build build a castle with hundreds of ducks, or you build a lake where they can swim and all that. So students that are really, really gifted and really want to be challenged, they can be there. And students that are just want to get it over with, and they end up after 35 minutes with a result that is okay for both of them. Lego educational and the learning part have been a part of Lego forever, from the beginning. Lego have been out there for 83 years. And actually why you were building a duck is because of this duck. This duck is from 1932 and was the first toy that Lego made, wooden toy. So that's why this duck is an icon for us to have there. And actually, this about teaching and learning, it's have been there. This is an advert from the 60s saying that play is making your child more clever. We have sentences like playful learning, hard fun, the builders of tomorrow, things like that. So the educational part have been there forever, since the beginning. Lego Education have been around for 35 years, and we are out now in 60 different countries or more, are delivering solutions in 16 different languages. And our core markets are US and Germany and China. And China is really, really exciting to see. I was having some meetings out there in China, and the Ministry of Education said, we have a problem. The students that are coming out of the university, we cannot use them anymore. Too many students are dropping out of the universities in US, the Chinese students. There is something wrong here. You cannot just dress up like Steve Jobs and say, whoa, now we're creative. That's not enough. You need to have some skills around it. So suddenly they are saying, we create a reform, and we need to have critical thinking, to be creative, innovation, project-based learning. How can we have that? Lego, can you help us? So we're actually working very closely out there in China to see how we can use Lego bricks and the Lego platform to solve that challenge they have. We also have a lot of different partners that have been around for many, many years. MIT and Tufts University have been around helping us and building all this about programming and how we can use our technology in teaching in STEM, in science and technology. National Instruments have been a very strong partner for us to create the software that we are using for our robots. And then another thing is the organization FIRST, the guy Cayman who developed the Segway, you know. We have an organization together called FIRST Lego League, where more than 500,000 kids around the world are getting into teams where they are solving challenges like nature disasters, renewable energy, hunger, or whatever, by programming these robots and learning about engineering and science and technology at the same time. And this year they met up in St. Louis, and thousands of young people really engaged, and Obama said, "You are the future," on a big screen. So that is really, really driving a lot of good thinking and really engaged students for us. So times are changing. I guess that you have been discussed as well. That we believe that maybe more than 50% of the jobs that we will see in the future is not invented yet. So that the students that are coming out will have jobs that we don't know anything about. New technology, new ways of communicating, and how to prepare for this. You just need to be able to learn how to learn. You need to be able to be innovative and critical thinker, and to be creative. I guess that you have seen a lot of these, so I have one as well. That we are moving at the speed of light towards the multiple truth in a global, innovative future, where these are the skills that are important in the future. It's not important to learn what we did yesterday, it's important to learn what we have to do tomorrow. It took us 1,700 years to create or develop our language. 300 generations ago, we developed writing, and 35 generations ago, we developed printing, and then suddenly it said, poof. Now things are happening each year. Disruptive new things are coming out. I have two daughters. One is 18 and one is 23. And there's somehow, at least in the digital area, there's nearly a generation between those. They work differently, they think differently, they use the technology differently. It's moving so fast. So how to be prepared for that? Be a critical thinker and be able to work with innovation and to be creative. So, but still, when we are around in our markets, we still see these kinds of classroom. One fits all, one size fits all. Every student have to learn the same, reading the same textbook. We even see when we just cross the border of Denmark down south, I don't have to name the country, there we see classrooms where they have whiteboards, smart boards, really high-tech classrooms, and in front of them there is a blackboard, and they use chalk in front of it. Well, that's a challenge. So the technology is there, they are online, but they are not using it because of the teachers might find it hard to get started with. So therefore, it's not enough just to bring in fun and engagement and really exciting elements into the classroom. We also need to make sure that the teachers can actually use it for teaching. That's really important. So that is, of course, some of the challenges that we have PISA tests, and of course it's important that we need to prepare for that and need to be able to prepare for the basic skills, but we also need to be able to prepare our students for these 21st century skills where they have to be creative and critical thinkers. Otherwise, they will fall asleep. The digital part in education, we see that more and more, that you have a 2D screen, and it's actually harder to write and it's harder to read. And it's actually a little bit harder to use because the solutions there are maybe not that good yet. But it's important for us that we will never develop, I can't say never say never, but we are not developing stand-alone digital solutions. There will always be a physical element to it. Because we think that the tactile, the physical element is really important, and that the digital part to that is just an add-on. So this is how we see the classroom of the future. Every student is different. They learn different, they think different, they are different. They create docs differently. They create different docs, all of them, like you did. So this is how we see the future classroom. The digital dimension to it is, of course, a big challenge for us. It's not just that we can deliver it on a laptop or a standard computer. In China, we saw classrooms where the tables was one big screen, and you could just draw lines with your fingers and share documents like this. And every student was walking around with iPads and was sharing documents like this. So suddenly there are many, many different screens that we need to make sure that we can fit. So that is, of course, a big challenge for us. Our core markets or our core segments are preschool, elementary, and middle school. And then we have a growing business in the after-school area, where, for instance, when you come home, instead of going to football, you go into after-school, or you're going into a Lego education center, and then you continue learning, having fun with Lego bricks. This is a little sneak peek in our portfolio. How many of you are familiar with the Mindstorms robot? Many of you. It's really a big part of our business, and it has been out there this is the third generation, and it has been out there for 18 years. And it's really, really a strong tool for learning science and technology, engineering, math, and so on. So that is for the middle school segment. And then we have, for the smaller kids, the WeDo, where you can work with sensors and motors. And for instance, like you can build a crocodile, so whenever you feed it, it closes its mouth, and you learn how to program. Then we also have the story starter. Instead of just starting with a pen or at a computer, you build your story. I had a fantastic experience that was also in China. I had 20 young teachers just came out of university, and we were showing them this product and saying that, okay, take this product and take these bricks and start building a tower. That was an easy task. So they built a tower. Okay, they haven't tried it before, so they built a tower and tell me about your tower, and they started telling the person next to them about that tower. So the next challenge we put in there was a little more creative and a little more challenging. Add on to your tower a very good day. A dream of a very good day. Add that to your tower. That was totally quiet for 2 minutes. And then they start looking in all the bricks and start taking fishing and coffee and a little boat. And suddenly it was buzzing, and people, they were really, really engaged. And I couldn't stop them again. So suddenly they were building this whole universe around this tower. And now explain to the people around you about this, a very good day around your tower. And they took the tower and stood up and said, okay, now I have to explain. So suddenly they had this third dimension out here, and they could talk to this around this tower. It was fantastic. So instead of just jumping in and writing text, you can build your story, and then you can, maybe you can take pictures, maybe you can create a video with it. We have also products for preschool, and we have products for math as well. So the difference between the toy and a Lego education product is that it's not just the bricks. We have the bricks, and we have a digital component. It could be a robot, and then you have the software where you can program the robot. But then we also have the academy, where we train the teachers so they are able to use Lego education solutions in the classroom, so they know how to prepare. We have, for math, for instance, we have a full year of curriculum activities that they can use, 48 lessons for first and second grade. And the content part where we add our curriculum is the core. It's really, really important element to that. So these 4 elements is a Lego education solution. The Mindstorms is primarily used for where you can go out in space. You can challenge yourself around science. You can build a path where you need to follow. You can have sensors that can distinguish between colors and things like that. The WeDo is similar, where you also have a programming interface where you can program these for minor children. And this is the story starter product I told you about, where you build your story and then we have a software component to it where you can take pictures of your story and put it in and create a cartoon as documentation. And it can be a very easy story that you build, or it can be a very, very complex. So you can differentiate in your teaching there. And then we have the math, where instead of just learn about math, you can also do problem solving by using physical bricks. It could be building a snake or counting the amount of eggs or whatever. And then we have a software where you can use a big smartboard and you can build in 3D on that smartboard with your hands. So like this, where the teacher is instructing the kids on how to use the physical bricks, and then they actually take the physical bricks and start doing problem solving with their hands and with the Lego bricks. And then maybe one of the kids can come up to the smartboard and do that exercise with 3D building and build that with digital bricks and explain the solution. So that gives us, in our curriculum, there is, of course, the ability so that you can actually really differentiate the way that you're using this. So it's easy for that you can have, give some of the students can have challenges that are much more difficult than other students, and based on the skills you have. So we have this flow that goes across where you can use the same product and you can use the same solution, but for students on different levels. Some students can take the purple brick, and the purple brick is some harder tasks, and they can try that in the same classroom. So it is actually using play for learning, and it's actually taking the students where they are. For the teacher, it's very easy because so the preparation time needed for the teacher is very, very low, because they have all set out in the activities and the plan that we are delivering together with the solutions. And it's not just counting, it's not just learning the numbers, it's also being creative and finding different solutions like you did with the duck. And that it's entertaining is really important for us, that it's fun and engaging so that the kids can remember it. And they're actually using their hands, they're learning math with their hands. And we can actually, that fun part, we can actually see that when we see at the national standards across the different markets there. Enjoyment, curiosity, positive attitude, experience of fun, of success when we go across, that it's important to have that. Because we see a lot of kids that don't want to learn math, that don't care about engineering, that don't care about these things, so it's important that it's engaging and it's fun. And we feel that when you have this, the Lego brick as part of this, and you can use those. So when you have a math solution like this, of course you have the brick set you see at the bottom, and at the top you see you have the curriculum pack. That is all the activities, the teacher notes, the guides that the teachers are using on how to prepare for teaching. We have the whiteboard software, and then we have storage, so it's easy to use in the classroom. You could imagine that you have millions of bricks in the classroom and suddenly they are all on the floor. And then you have to spend most of the time picking that up. So of course we have a system for that. And there is an e-learning platform as well for the teachers, so they can go in and learn more on how to use math, our math product in their teaching. And they can learn from other teachers. They can share good experiences. So we have a community where one teacher can share good experience with another teacher. I used it in this way. Or I created my own activities. Maybe I can take these activities, rewrite them, and create my own from a starting point of another teacher. So that community is growing and growing and growing, where teachers are sharing across, not just in the same school, but also across districts and in a global context. So this is how it looks. And these are the activities. You can have them in paper, you can have them on an iPad or whatever, and we have integrated assessment as part of it, where the students can document their work, and we have observation checklists, so you can see how the different students are progressing. So you get a full package where you have all the learning targets and how to prepare yourself for the teaching, and you have a full year of curriculum. And what is important for us, this is not just one set, it's localized in each country we are in, so that it meets the national standards in each country. So it's not just translated, it's really localized to what the needs are in the different areas. So we also have 4 C's. We have the connect, construct, contemplate, and continue. To get started, it's really important that we connect in the right way, and students can connect in different ways. That could be a real life scenario, it could be around racing a car, or it could be about fishing, or it could be about cooking, or whatever, that we are able to make every student connect to what are the tasks that they are going to do. So that is where it all gets started. And then when you get into the construct phase, where you actually take the physical bricks and you start constructing, you start experimenting and see how it works. Maybe you build a car and make it go down a ramp and see how far it can go. And then after that, when you move into the third phase, where you contemplate and you think, okay, what actually happened? What could I change? Can I change the wheels of the size of the wheels of the car? Can I put some more weight on it? And what will happen then? Will it drive faster or longer or whatever? And then you can move back to continue, and then you can try all over again. You can experiment, and you can learn from that. So it's an ongoing cycle. So what we say is that it's for small hands and big hands, that we have the big bricks. So we can start when you are very, very young, like this, but they are not hard like this, they are soft bricks. And then we can take them all the way through middle school and continue there. And of course, you've seen in university and further on that the Mindstorms robot is continuing there. So the importance of, I guess that you have seen many of these pictures, the hands are really important, that we have this physical element as part of it. This is a core to our philosophy. It's a core to the way that we create solutions, that we have this physical component to it. So we are not creating digital solutions that are standalone digital, where it's really hard to work with digital bricks or 3D bricks. It's really a bad experience. But when you take the physical element to it and use the digital as an add-on, you will have something completely different. So I think that we will never leave the physical elements as part of what we do. Okay? That's what I had.
You have time for some question? Is there someone who wants to ask a question for our speaker? Joe?
Sorry.
Thank you. I was wondering if you had any research about the neuroscience that goes on when the children are going from digital to physical, because we intuitively know that that deepens the learning, but do you have any research on that?
yeah, and a lot of the partners that we're working with are doing that research for us, that it's really easier for you to memorize when you have something in your hands. And we can see that you learn language in a different way when you also build around that. So that we can actually see that when you are having these physical elements and you are expressing yourself through this, then you are easier to memorize, it's easier to learn, and it's easier to keep that knowledge there when you move on to the next lesson and you move on to learn something more. So that is, yes.
I was wondering if your organization has funds for countries that don't have the money to pay for the Legos?
No, sorry. Behind the Lego company, there is a foundation, and a core activity of that foundation is actually supporting education around the world. So they are actually supporting different countries and are running different projects. For instance, there's a big project in South Africa where we are funding and supporting. Sorry? Yes, and products. Yes.
Yes, I really love Lego ever since I was a small boy and ate it, and now I play with it. Do you regard 3D printers as a threat or an opportunity?
For many years, since the 3D printers was coming to the market, I guess that we thought it was not something we should touch. The quality is not good enough. The clutch power when you take the brakes is not good enough, it's falling apart. But now the technology is getting so good, and I was at the BET exhibition in London, where you can see all these different new trends around education, and you saw 3D printers all over the place. Makerspace is coming up, and maybe we now have a little different approach. Could Lego look into 3D printing in a way that could be interesting? I can't go more deep into it, but maybe it's not a threat anymore. Maybe it's something that we need to look into to see how we can work together with that part. Let's say that you have, it's just an idea, that you have to solve a problem and you have 95% of the Lego bricks to solve that problem, and you need to create the missing part, the missing link. That could be a way of implementing 3D printing together with our solutions. Yeah, the quality is getting better and better at 3D printing, and if you can just Google it and you can find a lot of things that you can just download to your printer and start printing. Yeah.
So in the U.S. we do a lot of accountability stuff, research, a lot of testing of kids for approaches. Are there any controlled research studies that show that kids will learn math better using Legos than the traditional way of using math? I know they might have more fun, but any research on the outcomes?
Not any research I have with me here, so I cannot go deeper into that here, no. So, but I guess that, of course, we will have that, yes. Yeah.
More questions? I'd like to thank you for this great and inspiring talk.
Okay.
On behalf of the World Council of Gifted Talent Children.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.